Hi, fifth graders. Mrs. Fernandi here. Are you ready for your first spelling test of the year? This is from lesson 2 or week 2 of spelling. And the number of words that I'll give you are 22. So if you want to pause the video and write numbers 1 through 22 down the side of your paper, that might make it a lot easier. And go ahead and write the date at the top. So pause now, and you can skip lines or not skip lines depending on how neatly you can write. All right, hopefully you paused the video, you wrote your numbers, and we're going to get started, but I want to first remind you or tell you that anytime you feel like I'm going too fast, just pause the video. You can slow everything down. You could pause the video after every word I say if you want to. Just make sure you take your time and do your best work. Okay, number 1, our first word is thrift. I'll check the thrift store for our play props. Thrift. This word is an application word, which means it wasn't on your list, but it is something that you have learned some spelling rules this week or last week, and now you apply them to spell a new word. Numbers 1 and 2 will always be application words. So number 2 is crunches. The gravel on the road crunches under my feet. Crunches. Number 3 is misled. The detectives were misled by the clues. Misled. Number 4 is swimmer. My sister is a swimmer on the high school team. Swimmer. Think about your base word, and think about our rules, and think about our suffix, the ending. Number 5 is fixing. He will be fixing the broken pipe under the sink. Fixing. That has a special rule. Hopefully you remember. Think of the base word and the ending of the base word. Number 6 is skidded. I skidded to a stop on my bike. Skidded. Again, think first of the base word. Think about the rules. Decide whether to double that D and then add the ending. Number 7 is knock. There was a knock on the door and he answered it. Knock. Again, pause the video if you feel like I'm going too fast. That was number 7. Number 8 is camping. The nature group will be camping out tonight. Camping. Number 9 is trotting. The jockey exercised the racehorse by trotting it around the track. Trotting. Remember again, think base word first. Ask yourself the questions about doubling and then add the ending. Number 10 is pledge. She will pledge to follow the rules of the group. Pledge. This was from last week. Do you remember the j sound at the end of a one-syllable word? How do we spell it? That's an unusual spelling. Hopefully you remember. Pledge. Number 11 is printed. The classroom rules were printed out and posted on the bulletin board. Printed. Number 12 is switches. The light switches are located by the door. Switches. Last week, I think I told you the itch sound at the end of a one-syllable word has a very specific spelling as well. We talked about it briefly this week. Number 13 is muddy. The water in the lake is muddy this year. Muddy. Base word, think about the rules and the ending. Number 14 is which. I can't decide which fruit to bring for lunch today, apricot or banana. Which. Number 15 is I'm. The teacher said, I'm to have the lead in the play. I'm. Think about that contraction. What does the apostrophe take the place of? Number 16 is whole. My family and I ate the whole pizza. Whole, the entire, that kind of whole, right? Number 17, again, pause if I'm going too fast. The word is they've. I believe they've left for school already. They've, the contraction. If you think about pulling out the pulling the contraction apart and then putting it back together with the apostrophe taking the place of a couple of letters. Number 18 is thought. Hopefully you practice that ought ending and you know it now. And then you add the digraph at the beginning. She gave her science project much thought. Thought. Number 19 is also a tricky word. The word is sure. He's sure he locked his door before he left. Sure. Number 20 is whose. Now listen carefully. They know who's responsible for the athletic equipment. Remember that trick I told you? Pull that contraction apart to see if it makes sense in the sentence. I'm going to read the sentence one more time. They know who's responsible for the athletic equipment. Whose. Last two words are our advanced spelling words. Sometimes they're harder and sometimes they're not going to be too hard. Today they are. Number 21 is strength. That one is kind of tough. Strength. Rock climbers need both strength and balance. Strength. And the last word for this week is trimming. The gardener will be trimming the hedge by the house. Trimming. Now hold on right there. You can pause. I'm going to pull up the answer key. So pause the video there. Check back at your words. If you need to re-listen to part of it, just back the video up and listen again. Find a spot where you think, oh, I forgot what that number was. All right, here it comes. So what I would like you to do now is I'd like you to make sure that if you did spell something wrong, cross it out with one line. Let me show you what I mean by that. You would just cross it out and then rewrite it right next to it. You can see that for me, I have them pretty crunched in together because I want you to see it all on one page. So number one was thrift. We have the the digraph, thrift, and then blending with the R. Short I sound and another constant blend at the end, FT. Crunches, we have a blend here, cr, and we have both a blend and this constant digraph, ch. And then as we talked about last week, ends in ES, even though it sounds like easy. Misled, mis means not or unnot, and led is the base word, so not well led. Swim is our base word. We're going to double the M and add the ending ER. Fix is our base word. Remember, there's a special rule about fix. It has we answered yes to all the questions, except for that we cannot, in the English language, double the X. So we're just going to add ing on. Skidded, skid is our base word. We're going to double the D, add ed. That's a funny word with 3 Ds in it. We have a silent KN on knock and the digraph CK at the end. CK is the K sound at the end of one syllable words typically, like in duck. Camping, our base word is camp. Let's see if I can pull this up a little higher. Camp, of course, it's got 2 consonants at the end, so we're not going to double anything. We're just going to add the ing. But in trot, we do have only one consonant after our short vowel in a one-syllable word. We'll double the D and add ing. Pledge, I wonder if you remember this. The J sound at the end of a one-syllable word is typically spelled D-G-E. Pledge and judge, trudge through the snow, all those end in D-G-E. Printed, we have print as our one-syllable word, but ends in 2 consonants, so we're just going to add the ed. Switches, again, this TCH, one-syllable word with a ch sound at the end, is typically spelled TCH. We talked about that last week. And then as at the end there. Muddy, we have the base word mud. We double the D, and then we have the vowel form of Y. So Y is acting like the long E there. It has the long E sound, so it's a vowel sound. So it turns mud, one syllable word, into 2 muddy. We're going to double that D and go ahead and put the vowel Y at the end. Which, we have the vowel digraph question form of vowel constant digraph WH, short I sound, short I sound, and then ch, another consonant digraph at the end. I'm is a contraction formed by I am. We're going to replace the A with our apostrophe here, and it's going to become I'm. Whole, the whole pie, when we talk about the entirety of something, we're going to talk about whole with the WH. When we talk about a hole, remember I said the W slips through the hole and we just end up with the H-O-L-E. But my family ate the whole pizza. They ate the entire pizza. They've is a contraction of they have. We replaced the H and the A with an apostrophe. So we've got they've. And then thought, I was asking if you remember how to spell O-U-G-H-T so that you can spell sought and bought and brought. And this one is thought. Sure, the S makes the vowel the same sound as the vowel of the consonant digraph, SH. So sure, I'll help you. Whose, this, we're going to say, let me read the sentence again. They know who's responsible for the athletic equipment. So I asked you to say, separate it and say they know who is responsible for the athletic equipment. So we know that it is the apostrophe S. It's taking the place of the I in who is. Strength is a tough word. We've got a 3 consonant blend at the beginning, one little short E sound, and then we've got the ng, which is kind of hard to see here, that blend, and then we have a consonant digraph at the end. That is quite a word. And then trimming, we have trim as our base word. It follows all the rules. We're going to double the M and then add ing. You can pause the video right there. Make sure that if you got something wrong, draw a line through it, write it correctly next to it. And when you're done, take a picture of it and upload it to your teacher's Seesaw account. All right, perfect. Well done in your first spelling test. That's week 2, and I will see you next week for week 3's lessons. Take care, and thank you for your big efforts.